Hey everybody, welcome to Back to Basics class. This is Morgan. I will be going over the home meat canning process today. This segment will consist of pressure canning chicken. This is just how we do it at our home and is by no means the only way to can meat. We do, however, try to follow the FDA guidelines. Alright, our first step is to sterilize our jars and our lids. While this step may not be necessary for the pressure canning process due to the pressure and high heat, we still prefer to go ahead and boil them because it is always good to start with clean jars. While our jars and lids are sterilizing, we'll begin to prepare our meat. Start by rinsing your meat in cool water. Then begin to trim as much fat and sinew from the meat as possible. Don't worry if you miss some or cannot get all the meat and silver skin, as this process will break down most of it. Then cut meat into more manageable pieces. I tend to cube my meat into about 1-inch cubes. Chicken doesn't have much sinew. Other meats such as beef or venison will have more, but will still break down during the canning process. Now that our jars are done sterilizing, you can begin packing your jars with your meat. We are raw packing these jars so you do not have to add any liquids. Hot packing is another method where you pre-cook your meat to give it a different flavor profile, but will need liquids added such as broth. Press meat into jars lightly to remove most of the air pockets and leave about 1 inch of headspace. Headspace is the space between the top of the meat to the top of the jar. From here we will add any seasonings you desire, but in this video we just added half a teaspoon of canning salt to each pint jar. You can use regular table salt, but the liquids in the jars will be cloudy as compared to canning salt. Next, we will dampen a towel with vinegar and wipe the sealing surfaces of each jar and clean off any impurities that may have gotten on them. If any fats or oils from the meat gets on the sealing surfaces, this could cause the jars not to seal properly. Once wiped clean, we will start putting our lids and bands on the jars. Do not tighten the bands too tightly, just finger tighten them, then go about a quarter turn more. Fill pressure canner with water to the specific line that the manufacturer specifies. Add about a tablespoon of vinegar to this water to prevent a film from forming on your jars. Next, you will want to inspect your gasket and steam vent hole to make sure there are no holes in the gasket or anything clogging the steam vent hole. You will want to look through the steam vent hole and or blow through it. Fill pressure canner with jars and put lid on, making sure to install lid correctly so that the lid is locked properly. Turn eye on high and wait for steam to begin exiting the steam vent hole. When a steady stream of steam comes from the hole, time it for 10 minutes and add jiggler to the steam vent hole. Watch carefully as the pressure begins to build. For our area, which is less than 2,000 feet above sea level, we will can at 11 psi for 75 minutes for pint jars only. When pressure reaches 11 psi, begin adjusting eye to maintain that pressure. Do not go too high, as this can damage your canner. Also, if you drop below the 11 psi, you'll need to get the pressure back up and restart your timer. You have now gone 75 minutes without a drop in pressure. You can cut the eye off and let the pressure naturally fall. Do not pull the jiggler off to release the pressure, because this will create a positive pressure inside of the jars and all of your liquid will be siphoned out and you will have dry meat. That may or may not keep your jars from sealing properly. When gauge has dropped to zero pressure, you must also wait until the pressure relief device on the top of the pressure canner lid has seated back down before you can safely remove the lid. When you do finally remove the lid, be careful as it will be very hot. Remove jars and place on top of bar or counter to cool for 12 to 24 hours. At this point, you'll have a finished product, and you may remove the bands to make sure you do not have a false seal on your lids. Congratulations! You have now canned meat for the first time of many. Thank you for watching. I hope this video is a blessing to you and your family.